All right, old friend, I got an idea. We got some spare time. Let's put this old adage to the test. All right, now don't forget you can't turn away. Hasn't been a minute yet. No problem. No problem. What do you got from your level? Chant with me now. Oil. 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 Come on, you're almost there. I can see the little bubbles at the bottom. You're close. You're so close. Why won't you boil? Can't do it anymore, but you know when we look away. You know when we look away, it's going to do it. I don't know about you, but I give up. I guess it is true. God, I get so many Band-Aids. Oh, hey there. Just working through some of my first aid kit here. You never can be too sure in crazy times like these. Actually going through some of all this, I've been thinking about the museum and the exhibit we have on the Bible and healthcare. Haven't been around so long that I decided to do some of my own reading and thinking on the subject. Let me tell you about it. First off, I started with the Bible, and you know, I guess I shouldn't have been, but I was surprised to see that in the Bible, God is the sole source of healing. You know, there might be some other elements involved. Take the famous story of Naaman, an enemy general, going to bathe himself 7 times in the Jordan River. Or even a few chapters later in 2 Kings, King Hezekiah, when he pleads with God to extend his life, and God grants that. A clump of figs is put on his boil. Nonetheless, it's still God that is the sole source of healing. This is the same thing in the New Testament. We see Jesus heal multiple people of several different diseases: blindness, lameness, leprosy, or other skin diseases. We even see the apostles do the same after the reception of the Holy Spirit. And so throughout the Bible, it's God that is the source of healing. Most famously, maybe, Matthew 25 has Jesus in a sermon talking about how to treat others in his name. And he lists several of these things. He says, you know, if you see someone that's hungry, feed them. If someone's thirsty, give them a drink. If someone's a stranger, welcome them into your home. If someone is naked, clothe them. If someone is sick, care for them. If they're in prison, visit them. Now, the church actually would take this up, and this would actually become very influential on healthcare and on welfare systems for the next millennia and more. They would add to it burying the dead. And so you would actually, we call these today in the church the corporal works of mercy. So actually, one place where we can see the implementation of some of this is in the first Christian hospital. Now, pretty widely recognized, in AD 370, the first Christian hospital is opened up by a guy named St. Basil. Now, if you ever see that name, it is spelled like the plant. St. Basil, he opens this hospital ward and starts caring for all sorts of sick and hungry and travelers throughout his area in southern Turkey. He welcomed in strangers, whether they were travelers, whether they were hungry, whether they were sick, and he cared for them, and he taught them skills, and he clothed them. And St. Basil in his sermons, if you listen, was always talking about trying to implement the teachings of Jesus in your life. And he does so with this hospital, those very words from Matthew 25. This idea starts to catch on, and we see hospitals spring up attached to monasteries and cathedrals throughout the Christian world. Even by the time of Charlemagne, several centuries later, he passes an edict that says every town in his empire that has a cathedral must have a hospital attached to it. And so we see some of these connections going on. Now, if we jump to our own world, hospital means something very different today. It's come to focus truly on caring for the sick and healing them, and especially also with medical research and education. So it's a bit of a different institution. At the same time, hospitals today do not turn anyone away. And so we can even maybe see a thread there all the way back to the hospital of St. Basil and to never turning away anyone that has come to you. So in these times when health and healthcare is on everyone's mind, when you can, spare a thought for the historical connection between healthcare and the Bible and we hope that you can come back to the museum soon and take a look at that exhibit. All right, I got to get back to it. See you later.